Tweedly diddly dee, tweedly diddly dee. Tweedly diddly dee, tweedly diddly dee. Tweedly diddly dee, tweet.
We can do this, man. Yeah. All right. Awesome. Go. Woo! Hello, Fanfest! Woo! Woo! Whoa. A little bit of a setback there.
Yeah, apparently we're in a new place.
Yeah, nobody get the memo.
Yeah?
But how are you guys doing? Are you okay? Woo! Oh. Welcome. It's been a while since we've seen each other, and I think it's the first time we're seeing people in 3D. Amazing. So many beautiful faces. I love it. But welcome in Iceland, in the land of fire and ice. And I hope you're having a fantastic time on our little island in the middle of the Arctic Ocean. And honestly, it's just so cool seeing EVEOnline players taking over the Reykjavik for an entire week. It's glorious. But we're here in Jita 44 Station, one of the largest trading hubs in New Eden, a bustling metropolis with endless possibilities. This is where capsuleers come to seek for opportunities, trade goods, and get wealthy. And if you're lucky, you can actually have your ISK doubled as well.
Yeah. I know a guy.
I have to say that the station looks absolutely gorgeous after the most recent renovations. But this isn't the only thing that have changed, because you guys have been especially busy in the last 4 years.
Yeah, you've built tons of things. You've destroyed even more things. You've gone to war. And yeah, you've literally created EVEOnline's history. Yeah, this is some footage from some of the biggest battles you guys had. World War B, obviously. I see a lot of people from the audience. There's some goons, some pan fam, some in it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're still not quite sure who won, right? Yeah. So.
What did I just hear? What do you mean? You're not sure who won?
Yeah.
You're not sure who won the war? I'll tell you right now who won the war. I did.
Yeah.
Well, no. The Imperium won the war. You guys know it.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
You can...
Now get out of here.
Yeah. Thank you.
If you say so.
George.
Thank you, Frank.
Thanks, Frank, for the update. Love the shorts.
Isn't it the first time we see Fonte and Frank in the
I mean, it all makes
entirety?
sense. Yeah.
I was always wondering what's below there. It's crazy.
But yeah, we have a few more stories to share about what you guys got up to during the keynote, but this would not be complete if we didn't talk about the return of Alliance Tournament 17. Congrats to Hydra Reloaded for finally throwing the monkey off their back and finishing first after so many second-place finishes. But we're just happy the Alliance Tournament is back. And we owe it all to you guys in the community for keeping the competitive spirit alive with things like the EVENT Alliance Open and the Anger Games. In fact, Anger Games 5 is actually going on right now this weekend, so you can go and watch and root for your favorite teams. And yeah, it's just been incredible to have the competitive spirit back.
Yeah, and you guys also undocked quite a bunch of times, often together with us, venturing to different places over the cluster, writing more chapters in the EVEOnline story. You set new records of kills in a single low-sec system. You established Totality Day as a celebration of the culmination point of the Triglavian invasion in New Eden. However, your stories not always end up with a bloodbath. Sometimes there are just pilots that need help, or people who are finding themselves in crisis situations that just need a bit of support. And time again, you guys prove to be the best, the most generous gaming online community out there. And since the inception of the Plex for Good program, the amount of contribution is absolutely staggering. And CCP Hilmal will talk to you about it a little more just in a few seconds. Further, we found a way together to help scientists in the middle of the pandemic to better understand the immune system's response to COVID-19, producing data that would not have otherwise existed. You also paid tribute to those capsuleers who are no longer with us, preserving their memory in the hearts and minds of your corpmates, friends, and family.
And you also created incredible accomplishments. The Fury at FWST involved thousands of players. Frank was there. I actually jammed Brisk almost the entire time, so you can thank me later. But yeah, there is just an incredible amount of record-breaking going on in EVE, and it's amazing to see that after almost 20 years, you guys can still break the record books. Yeah. There are some other records you guys broke too. I am also going to take credit for this one because I jammed Brisk so much. He decided to take some ships that can't be jammed. You guys went to M2 and just said, hey, let's have a massive Titan brawl. And that's exactly what you guys did and destroyed a heck of a lot of them. It is the most costly battle in EVEOnline's glorious history. So credit to you guys. I'm sure, actually, I know several of you here have lost Titans in that fight. So it's fine. Yeah, there's Landfall Beer here. You can drown your sorrows. But yes, not every record has to be PvP related. In fact, Signal Cartel showed us this a few times. Katia Say set the record for the first capsuleer to completely circumnavigate EVEOnline. But you know, the apple doesn't fall from the tree. Enrique Arnolds, as you can see here, also from Signal Cartel, took a note from his now CEO, Katia, and circumnavigated all of New Eden, every single system, in just 224 days. Also, he did this without dying, which is absolutely nuts. I can barely go anywhere without dying. So congrats to Enrique for your Guinness record, world record. And if anyone thinks that they can top that, you've got 224 days to prove it. We've also welcomed a whole lot of new pilots to EVEOnline in the last couple of years, thanks to our Korean localization. Korean is now a supported language, so that is awesome. Hopefully there are some Korean capsuleers here. And then we've also blossomed into Japan again with our official relaunch into Japan. I know if you're a fan of the Alliance Tournament, Platinum Sensitivity credits this to their success, so already making a mark on New Eden. And if that's not enough, it's not just languages. It's other platforms as well. Our collaboration with Apple brought a native Mac client to EVEOnline, supporting the M2 architecture, which is very cool. Or the M1 architecture. Sorry, I'm thinking about M2 again. I've got Titans on the mind. But absolutely fantastic work there. You'll hear a little bit more about that a little bit later on. We've also expanded to the Epic Games Store, so new people can find Eve. More people to shoot, always a better thing. And of course, Eve Anywhere, which allows you to play Eve on any browser. And you'll be hearing a little bit more about that a bit later on. But I'm sure some of you here will probably use that so you can manage your skill queues while you're gone. And then who knows where we're expanding to next? Actually, I know, but you guys don't. But you will soon, and it's awesome and exciting.
Yeah, and obviously together with you, the game has also been constantly evolving. In the last few years, we saw an abundance of updates, balance changes, live events, technical improvements, and a plethora of new tools for you to play with. And it's always fascinating to see how astute capsuleers try to constantly adapt to the ever-evolving world of EVEOnline, often achieving feats maybe as well, but feats that go way beyond our wildest imaginations. And sometimes you just make testicles with the fleet formation feature, and that's okay.
Yeah. Our relationship with the community is actually something that we're really, really proud of. Hearing your feedback, listening to you when there's updates, what you guys want to see, whether it's on the forums, on Reddit, on podcasts, pretty much anywhere. We listen, and we're always happy to have this, what I think is an incredibly special relationship with you guys. It's unique to gaming. I can't think of another one that does it, and frankly, we just wouldn't be here without you. So thank you for that. Yeah. There are now more ways, though, to chat with us. People here in the audience, you probably know this. We opened our EVEOnline Discord server a few months ago and invited you guys here. But anyone watching now, we're officially launching it, so you can go to discord.gg/EVEOnline, add the Eve Discord server. You can talk to us, have fun, and especially if you're here at Fanfest, you can coordinate events, see what other people are up to, and just run into random capsuleers. It's a great way to organize or even just share some great pictures.
Absolutely, and again, at the end of the day, it all boils down to the fact that EVEOnline would not have been such an amazing, life-changing experience if it wouldn't be for you. And we're continually humbled and inspired by the people in this community, and you guys are what keeps us going. It is an utmost privilege to be a part of this phenomenon that seemingly transcends the digital boundaries of New Eden. And we want to thank you for that, for being here and for deciding to spend your time with us today. And on that note, I would like to invite on stage the CEO of CCP Games, hilmal Peterson.
Thank you, Camille. Well, it's been a while. So, little did we know when we were celebrating the 15 years of EVEOnline that there would be a 4-year gap from having Fanfest and having this wonderful experience that Fanfest is. Of course, we did madness as usual, people staring at horses, CCP games, cosplay, amazing times celebrating 15 years of EVEOnline. And we did take it on the road, so a lot of us went around the world to meet some of you and some of you on the stream. But the fact that that little gap year we were planning would turn into 4 years of a gap just wasn't something we were preparing for. This process of sharing our passion for EVEOnline is so much a part of how we do and make the game. I think it was not really fully understood and appreciated for us how kind of blind it invaded us when we all had to go and cancel everything, and do this for 2 years. I want to do a special thanks to everyone at CCP. We, of course, run the company without missing a beat throughout the period. But while everyone is very happy, you see this is kind of the first week of running CCP on Zoom and Teams. It started to set in. Like after 2 years of doing it, we're extremely happy to be back in the office here in Reykjavik and London. Unfortunately, not in Shanghai. Our people in Shanghai are experiencing some of the worst lockdown I think we've ever seen, and a big shout out to them. But here in Reykjavik, we're not only back in our new building in Gróska, we're also back with all of you here. But not only did we have like Corona to deal with, we also had a volcano. A lot has gone on. And obviously a volcano in Iceland is more like an opportunity to party. Here we roll with the punches, make the best of it. And we did get a lot done. Like the guys went a little bit over this, EVE Anywhere, localization, Guinness World Records, but also a big project during lockdown was to release EVEOnline in China again. So we released a new version of Serenity early in 2020, in the middle of lockdown. And then we released 2 versions of EVE Echoes in collaboration with NetEase in August 2020 and August 2021. So there has a lot been done. Of course, the Mac version of EVEOnline, which is a tip of a big iceberg of tech renovation underneath. We went pretty deep to remake all of the graphics and infrastructure for EVE to be able to make a Mac version. It enables us to do a lot more in the future. We've also experimented by pushing the boundaries on what can be done with the IP, with collaborations, and learned a lot from that, Epic Store, etc. It's been quite a thing. And it's great to be back here with all of you to kind of share our passion for EVE in multiple languages. Now, of course, we have localized all around the world. And we just want to like deeply welcome you and thank you for the journey in these 4 years where we haven't really been able to meet. And a lot happens in 4 years. So here are some interesting statistics. So 63% of CCP employees today have never been to Fanfest. And what you would not think is that 57% of current EVE players that are playing EVEOnline today, this week, started after the last Fanfest. This is something that we tend to forget because a lot of us have been here a while. And we think like it's kind of a lot the same people meeting again and again. We have a bedrock of people that have been involved in EVEOnline for decades. But EVEOnline is a little bit like a river. There's people coming in and out all the time, and then kind of the bedrock builds up over time. So there's a lot of people that are not only working at CCP, but in the player community that have never experienced Fanfest. So please take care when you see some of our newer CCP employees that this would be their first Fanfest. There's like a special look. I think we all know it by now. You can kind of see people, yeah, that's your first one, isn't it? Yeah, I remember when it was my first one. It was in 2004. Speaking of that, it's a bit of a déjà vu to be back here in Laugardalshöll. So we did our last event here in 2011, and then we moved to Harpa. We were actually the first event in Harpa in 2012. Thank you, Iceland, for building it. It's pretty awesome. And it is awesome, but it is very much its own thing. Like Harpa is Harpa, kind of looks like a space station, but it doesn't really look like an EVE space station. So we've been getting feedback throughout the years that people miss a bit when we were here, and we could kind of more theme the event, and it's a different experience here. So now we're back in Laugardalshöll, trying out some new things. We have this gigantic screen, for example, and I'm sure you're like me, wondering how many multi-boxes we could fit on this. We should run a test at some point. Yeah, it would be a lot. And I'm kind of amazed that we can render Gita as well on this gigantic screen. Again, evidence to the tech investments we've been doing We have a lot of new stuff to play with, which you will be seeing throughout the days. But we're also here in a bit of a kind of a, what should we say, alpha test for next year, because next year EVE turns 20 years old. So now we're kind of working out the kinks. We're also out of practice a bit, holding Fanfest. So as we go through the journey here, please give us feedback on this. Please give us crazy ideas on what we can do here next year, because then we're going to go berserk. It's 20 years of EVEOnline, start of the third decade. So this is kind of the trial run. Hopefully, there won't be another pandemic or something to screw the boots. But here we are. So EVE players were good. The guys were mentioning this a bit. Amazing results for the last Pledge for Good. It's really amazing. And we're now up to $1.2 million that the EVEOnline community has contributed in helping disasters around the world, whether they are natural ones or made by people, such as the war in Ukraine. Terrible situation, but you guys really have stepped up. Ever since we got the call out from the community during the tsunami in Southeast Asia, and we kind of started, we didn't have Plex back then, it was kind of electronic game type codes, if you remember that. It was kind of ETCs for good. This is really amazing. Like, you keep on inspiring us with your ability to come together and make a difference. Please give yourselves a great applause. So, but we're here to talk all about EVE. And EVE started from humble beginnings. Here we see some releases when EVEOnline came out in exactly 19 years from now. It's actually EVEOnline's birthday right now. Right now. Our game has turned 19 years old, like science fiction. And it's a very abstract concept, like 19 years of a game, what does it really mean? I mean, some of you here, like me, have been here all along, and you've kind of seen it in its stages, and it's kind of, you lose the plot sometimes. So I got permission from Eva to show this picture again. This is my child, Eva, who was born just after EVE. I'm there playing EVEOnline. I am mining back for a thorax I lost. You can check the Fanfest keynote 2013. I tell the story when I lost my first spaceship in EVEOnline. I am there conflicted. Should I fix EVE or repay the spaceship I lost? Trying to do both and juggle my child at the same time. And we did, like, during lockdown, we had a bit of fun with it, and we reenacted the scenario. Thank you, Eva, for signing the GDPR waiver for this. So, this is what 19 years does to you. It makes the screens slimmer. And next month, CCP will turn 25 years old. We're entering some unicorn status in the game industry of surviving for this long. CCP is sometimes called like the cockroach of the game industry. Nothing kills us. And me, myself, actually celebrated 20 years of working at CCP for a while. It's actually now 22 years. And since I make the rules, I decided to get the two-handed sword for 20 years. Actually, Joe in North was ahead of me, and he got a shotgun, but this is more my thing. People up north, by the way, they have to hunt their own food, so it kind of makes sense. And there are polar bears and more there. But I wanted to give you kind of a bit of a high-level update on kind of what we're up to. Here are some pictures from our sort of internal communication material about the strategy of CCP. So we have been busy kind of since 2018, setting EVEOnline up for a third decade of success. which obviously starts next year. So there's been a lot of focus in getting that done. We continue to explore new worlds and strengthening the company. But I also wanted to discuss this a little bit, like, why are we still playing EVE? Like, I've now dedicated half of my conscious life to this game. Why is that? And of course, it's the fleet fights and the graphics and whatnot. But we did a major study. Actually, since last Fanfest, we got CCP Ghost to go and investigate what is really the reason why people are playing. We kind of knew high level. We know people join for the graphics, they stay for the community, but it's not a very actionable. It's too high level. So when you have a lot of new people, it's you need to educate in how you join EVEOnline dev team and what is the point of all this. It's good to deploy science into it. We came away with this, which we call the EVE effect. So the conclusion was kind of people play EVEOnline because of the friendships that they make inside the game. So our community is actually made up of individual relationships. Often when you think of the community as a mass aggregate, it becomes like a singular thing, but EVEOnline is held together by individual friendships that have formed and been tested over decades. And people keep calling out that EVEOnline has also given them life skills where they have grown to be the best versions of themselves. I've certainly followed the career of some EVE players inside the game and outside of the game. And it's one of my proudest kind of feelings about EVE is to see how much people have grown and how much they attribute that to EVEOnline. People that have, people that have kind of grown in their careers. Many people say, like, they are the go-to person for conflict management. There's something about EVEOnline that prepares you for that. And recruitment strategies, obviously Excel up the wazoo. We have some news on that later on. So it's really this. This is why people play EVEOnline for decades. This is why we work on it. It is the relationships, it's the friendships we've made through this journey. Like 73% of the people we talked to and did service on said they've made new friends because of EVEOnline. And having friends is very important. I think we saw that during the pandemic, where the fact that we had friendships and relationships to pull on. As you could almost say, like EVE players, when they saw we are now running the world from the basements, we got this. We've been preparing for this for 20 years. and when did you do? But we're also dealing with this in the world today, the loneliness epidemic. And it has been studied that the biggest correlation for health and happiness in life is how many meaningful relationships you have. It's a greater predictor of that than the negative ones, like smoking, being overweight, not moving, etc. Having friends destroys everything of that. It's really fulfilling in your life. You could argue it is the purpose of life. And the fact that we have all been here together forging relationship for almost 20 years, I think we all feel that, and we feel why we are part of this community for such a long time. It is that tapestry that is built up around the game. The average EVE player has more friends than your average person in boring reality. And this has given us insights which we will be deploying more and more as we move forward. We have made a bit of a theory around it, or like CCP Ghost has made it. The formula of how you make a friend, there's actually a formula for it. It's shockingly invented by the CIA, I think. Something about like intelligence. I mean, obviously you guys know this, like intelligence is gathered from making friends and enemies. So proximity, frequency, duration, and most importantly, intensity. This is where EVEOnline shines, whether it's PvP shakes or feeling that somebody has your back. This is really the reason why this game keeps on going. And the relationships are many-formed. I used to have to marry people myself. Now the Pope does it. Thank you, Pope. Okay, but why are we still investing in EVE? I've always and often been challenged by this. We obviously have had boards of investors throughout the years where people are like challenging this notion. We spent a lot of money on reinvesting in EVEOnline. And of course, it feeds into the updates we were giving you a few weeks ago about raising the prices. And I wanted to just talk a little bit about that here. Obviously, we have not raised the prices since Q1 2004, so it's been a while. Here's the newsletter from back then. And we are just looking at the world, which is heading into pretty new territory. So this is inflation data from the US. Iceland tends to be an early adopter of economic trends. We've been getting the preview of what's about to come for a while. Sure, if you look at the typical Icelandic newspaper, you might see in a stand here, you will see 7% inflation last month. Like, it's been kind of crazy. When you're buying $10 beer in Iceland, pretty sure you get the point. So it is just, frankly, more expensive to run EVEOnline than it used to be. And we have been growing the EVE team considerably since 2018. So we've been building up towards being able to have 150 developers work on EVEOnline, which takes a lot of organization. Like, the more people that are working on EVE, the more complicated it tends to be to organize people. You don't just add devs and magic happens. It's, like I showed before, 60% of CCP employees have never been to Fanfest. Like, now finally they get to experience what it's all about. And we've been doing a lot of deep foundation investments. So we've been 64-bit clients, Mac versions, DirectX 12, new tooling for developers. The environment of working on EVEOnline has kind of degraded over the years, and we have now been, since 2018, doing a massive investment in foundations that were always pushed away into the future because there was never time to do the proper things that were needed to improve the working conditions for developers. Because now it's 2020, most of EVEOnline was made in 20 years ago. And we have been on this journey of changing the strategy, we've changed the leadership, we've improved our discipline direction, like technology, game design, art, etc. We've worked on our creative vision, we've streamlined and aligned team to purposes, operations, a lot of investment in data to be informed by the facts rather than just intuition. Building the new player experience, and we're kind of getting out of the depths now. So as you see what we'll be showing in the EVE keynote, I hope you appreciate that there's been a lot of work underneath that enables what is about to come now into the third decade. And it would have been great to have Fanfest all the way along to give you an update on this, but at least here we are. But Fanfest was not the first. We actually had this Fanfest in China recently. So like I said, one of the big elements we did in 2020 was the release in China. Through our strategic partnership in NetEase, we have been kind of revitalizing EVE in China. And we're really now at a point where we have a really vibrant version of Serenity running over there. And there have been some amazing things on the battlefront. So if you know the Serenity situation, there have been a big, huge, dominant faction there called PIPC. They have actually split themselves into two alliances, which are now fighting. So we've been having some of the biggest fights in Serenity in this year, one even reaching 3,000 peak concurrent users, which is quite a bit by Serenity standards. They're not quite at sort of 8K like we are on the global server. So we are having a pretty vibrant aspect in China, which is really good. And we've also made massive changes to how we organize development of EVE China. So this is our dev team in Shanghai before they got locked in their homes 2 months ago. And they now entirely take care of Serenity. So part of our reorganization is that we've forked EVE China completely. So the developers here I was showing the graph of, they're all solely dedicated to TQ, and Serenity does their own thing. And they're doing pretty wild things. Here's a roguelike feature that has been developed in Shanghai, which you can kind of, well, you can go and play it if you can read Chinese, but it's really pushing the boundaries in a different way. And this is now all accumulating in the fact that we have a lot going on in EVEOnline. Like we have EVEOnline on TQ, we have EVEOnline on Serenity, we have EVEOcos Global, we have EVEOcos China. We have a new project in London where we're developing a first-person shooter. We have a project called M5, which is a mobile 4X game, and of course we keep our VR games going. Missing from the list are obviously Dust, because it's no longer running, and Spark, which is not really in the EVE IP, but maybe we'll work on that. So EVEOcos came out, and it's been pretty amazing. Over 13 million people have played EVEOcos. It's quite a lot. It's really added to this number of people that have experienced the EVE IP. And we are here because we're here first together in a while, talking about our new project, which is upcoming. And now I have to read. Our PR department has really made sure I don't give too much away here. So in London, we are doing an upcoming online tactical first-person shooter. It is unannounced. The project is unannounced. And we recognize that hard sci-fi in the EVE universe is something that needs to exist. And we're committed to do like an innovative multiplayer, atmospheric experience. And we're really looking forward to talk more about that, but that time is not now. But we have here CCP Sween. This is a great picture of him, but it doesn't really show how tall he is. He's taller than I, and that's a good way to spot him. So he is here to learn about community development from the best. So mob him and see how far you get. There might be a secret Discord server somewhere. I don't know. I just don't know. See how far you get. M5 is another game we're developing in Shanghai. It is a mobile game that is coming out at some point, and we're kind of play testing it internally. I constantly lose in it because everyone bullies me. But it's kind of a game about spaceships and world domination, but in a bit of a different format. So excited to share more about that with you. Then I wanted to talk a little bit about this. This is a slide from Fanfest 2017, where we talk about the role of new technology in evolving EVEOnline. So of course, we did a lot of VR investment from 2013 till 2017. That yielded some of the best VR games, which are still going. We are still on our VR vacation because the market is just not quite there yet, but we are eager and waiting for it to really take off. We really believe in that concept. The install base just isn't there. I talked about like understanding the human brain, this kind of study into the EVE effect and all these things, help us develop EVEOnline better. I talked about computers in the clouds. You have now seen the announcement of Quasar and all the work we've been doing that has really helped us modernizing EVEOnline. Using machine learning, AI, etc. We've been investing massively in. We now have a team of 20 people in the data team that do nothing but understanding EVEOnline trends through these kind of tools. And we also talked about blockchain in 2017. Exactly. This is from 2017. And of course, we have made the statement, it's not for TQ. We hear you loud and clear. Nobody needs this in their EVE life right now, and it's all good. But we will have a small team that is going to explore this, because a lot of what these Web3 kids are on about is about like governance, autonomy, living forever, etc. And we are curious about, is there something here to learn that we can enhance our craft in the decades to come? Because to make EVEOnline go on forever, you have to test out things, and you have to adopt new things. But, as I said, not for TQ. This is the plan, EVEOnline forever, and it's great to be back with you here to celebrate that. Thank you.
Are we on? Hello, everyone. Glad to be here.
Where the hell were you?
I was getting makeup.
Ah, Okay, fair enough. Right.
All right.
Take it off, man.
Is it me? All right. Well, hello, everyone. Glad to be here in your presence. It's fantastic to see you all. And there are a lot of you here, which we are going to talk a little bit about. Joining us today are over 120 alliances. And that's a lot. We're not going to name them all, but we're going to talk about some of those. The highest attendance here today. We're just going to do a small list, and you can make your presence known as much as you want. But let's just start with the first one. And I think it's number 11. It's a band apart. We have 18 members from a band apart. Where are you? There you are. Sixth Empire, 19. There you go. So we move up the list. We have Test Alliance, 19. We're going to talk about that. We form Volta, 20. Next we have the Minotaur role players. Electus Matari, where are you? 21. Woo! There you are.
Right on.
And Pandemic Legion, 25. Next is Brave, 28.
They brought flags.
They did. Northern Coalition, 30. That's right. The Initiative, 48. All right. We're getting up there.
Yeah, 2 more.
Who's next? Pandemic Horde, 53. And last, but certainly not least, 101. The goons are in their house, to say the least. It's great to see you. You guys come from over 40 countries this year.
At Fanfest.
At Fanfest, which is just incredible. We have a person with us here for this event who traveled over 16,500 kilometers, and he comes from the southeastern coast of Australia. And let's give him... I originally had a lot more information, like the city and stuff, and then they were like, no, they will figure out who he is right away, so please don't do that. So we cut it back. But we are absolutely more than proud to welcome you all here today from all over the world. It's great to see you guys.
Absolutely, and one of the reasons why Fanfest is such an amazing experience is all of the presentations, player talks, contests, roundtables, and extra activities that we have planned for you. You can see the schedule just behind me. Obviously, it's easily accessible for you on the website. And today, just in a little bit, we obviously are going to have the EVEOnline keynote. It's something you absolutely do not want to miss. We will be showcasing the keynote as well on the screen in Singularity. So if you guys want to use that room as well, you're going to be more than welcome to grab a seat and make yourself comfortable. There will be also a presentation from our space buddy Scott Manley happening later today, and the art team will showcase some marvelous things they have in store for EVEOnline. Other than that, we do have the Fanfest Global Finals happening for all the tournament enthusiasts out there. Is the culmination of our 2v2 Invasion Tournament series that we organized back in 2019. And now we finally managed to flew the winners from all of those locations to compete for the title of the Fanfest Global Champions. We also have a bunch of cool prizes that are sponsored by our friends from IMD and HyperX, and it's going to be really cool to see who actually is going to take the trophy with them home.
And if you don't know this by now, by the opening video, we are weird. So bring back this year, we have CCP Games. The second iteration, it has no lubrication or spandex of any kind. So if you were hoping for that, I'm very sorry, guys, but we have something else. We are going to have some physical activities which are going to be hilarious, and the players will display their vast knowledge of EVEOnline as well in mixed group with the developers, so we're going to be mixing them. But for anyone who does not know, this is a game show. It's ridiculous. You're going to love it. It's going to be later today, hosted by CCP Quant and CCP Connect. And the schedule for tomorrow, just to go briefly over it, it is a really packed day of both presentations and roundtables, and we encourage you to take a look at the schedule so you can plan out your day. The best way to do that, of course, is to use the Sched app. You can either download this for Android or iOS or access it on the website. It's going to be efanfest2022.sched.com or search for EVEFanfest 2022. And for those of you who are watching at home, CCP is going to be streaming all of the presentations that take place here in Tranquility, including CCP Games later today. And then we will start again in Singularity tomorrow at 10 a.m. with a presentation from Mike Azariah. And after all of those presentations and roundtables, we'll again meet here in Tranquility for the global finals. And I think we're done then, right? Like
yeah, I mean, we're going to have a little bit of a closing
one more
ceremony,
thing, right?
just to go over a couple of things, but there wouldn't be a FanFest without the party at the top of the world. We're going to have Z-Trip and Mind One producing some deep, juicy beats for us.
That's right.
To really energize the crowd. And, you know, the volcanic eruptions that we had are going to be nothing compared to the tremble that people in Reykjavik are going to feel when we turn this party to 11. And the party will obviously take place over here in Tranquility. You can see the floor plan over there, which, again, also is accessible in all sorts of different places, just so you can better orientate yourself. There's just a couple of things I wanted to bring your attention to. When you enter the venue, to your left-hand side, we do have the silent auction. Once again, we're super happy to be working with our friends at Able Gamers and proceeding all of the donations into their noble cause. They are on the mission to creating opportunities that enable play in order to combat social isolation, foster inclusive communities, and improve the quality of life for people with disabilities. You can be placing your bids throughout the weekend. There is a lot of unique items that I think every nerd would like to add to their collection. The only thing you need to remember that the silent auction will end at 4 p.m. tomorrow. So if you're bidding for something and you really want that gold magnate or a Lloyd George watercolor, you need to be there, otherwise it's gonna go to the second person with the highest bid, okay?
But that is not the only place you can take home memorabilia, because the GT4 Marketplace will be open right after the keynote and remains open throughout the day. And for both of those things, the Marketplace and the silent auction, we have the DHL Interbus branch on site. If you need to ship anything home, they are there to assist you. And on the second floor of the station is where you will find a bunch of... All right. And this is where you'll find a bunch of roundtables tomorrow throughout the event, so make sure you check out the floor plan for the event as well. And together, okay, what is that?
I mean, it's a red dot.
Yes. Yes, but what does it do?
So you know you have a new slide.
A new slide? I think we can all see that there is a new slide. So can we just turn that off, please? Thank you. That's great. All right. So together, tomorrow, we are going out to the pub crawl. I think this is the 14th iteration of the pub crawl. And we are going to be taking over Reykjavik City. There is nothing they can do to stop us, so if they get in our way, we'll just scream at them, and then they'll be scared and they'll run away. It'll be great. The registration for it starts today at 2 p.m. in the registration area and is until 4 p.m. So if you're going to that, please go there. If you're not going to the official pub crawl, you can still scream at the locals and other tourists to make your presence known. They'll run away. That's great. And each attendee will be getting beer tokens, custom shot glasses, drinks, and brennivin, of course, everyone's favorite drink. And which type of beer? I'm super glad you all asked. there is an official beer for Fanfest this year, and that is the Landfall Beer. It is traditionally brewed using water imported from the springs, rising from the mountains near Landfall City on Kaldari Prime. They told me to say this, or so they tell me. And the other one, of course, needs no introduction. It is the quaif drink in the heat of the moment. How was that? Was that good?
That was great.
Yeah,
that was great. I liked
oh,
it.
okay.
And for those of you who selected and favor to do a little bit more tasting of the local cuisine, we do have the Gourmand pub crawl that will be kicking things off from Harpa at 6:30 tonight. So definitely be there on time to not be late on the mouth-watering journey that we will embark on all together. I'm actually going. CCP Alpha is going, and a bunch of other devs. It's going to be great. But that's not the only extra event that is still available for you guys staying here. We do have Down the Rabbit Hole premiere of the first part of the documentary about EVEOnline. This is taking place on Sunday in Bioparadise. So if you would like to watch that, the tickets are still available. Just go on Eventbrite and grab one for yourself. We actually have Freddy Knudsen, together with his team, here with us in Iceland, and they were kind enough to offer their time to conduct a Q&A as well after the show. So if there would be any questions you want to ask them, they will be more than welcome to give you information. There's other thing we kind of want to mention. We have it easy in Iceland when it comes down to COVID-19. There are no restrictions. But you know, the danger and the pandemic, it's still around us. So please do be mindful of everyone's personal space and make use of the hand sanitizer stations we put everywhere. Just wash your hands, guys. That's going to save everybody. We do want to make sure that all of you can have a wonderful time and then travel back home safely without any delays.
And then all of you here have a small ticket that you received with your pass. There will be an email sent to you later on this, but this is for the Fanfest 2022 digital items. They are this glorious suit from the Kimotoro Esquitan, and as well as the Kimotoro Esquitan skins, which you can see here. Then there's also a very nice character portrait background, which is available to everyone in EVEOnline for a limited time to claim it. So don't forget it, or you will never get it. And then for anyone watching at home, of course, we will have plenty of raffles over the weekend on the stream. This is going to be skins as well as printed ships from Integral Labs. And as always, throughout the weekend, you can spend your sweet, sweet loyalty points on those Galnet Streamcast skins.
Do you already have the entire collection?
No, I lost all my points on fraternities through last 80s. So,
right, I forgot about that. Yeah. Okay. But also, none of this would have been possible without our fantastic partners. So big shout out to Intel, HyperX, AMD, Worldline, Island, Stoffa, Ghoul, and CCP for hosting FanFest. Thank you very much for being with us. But let's not drag this any longer. The festivities are commencing. The gate is green. Guys, we hope you're going to have a fantastic time. The keynote is going to be there in a very moment. So you have time for a bathroom break, but don't take too much. It's going to be awesome. Thank you very much, and we'll catch you later.